So 14 Minesweeper variants has a section here that combines all the different variants in the game. So let's see what this is about. Quad and multiple. There must be at least one mine in every 2x2 area, and each mine in a colored cell counts as 2. Okay, well, I can tell you there's no mine in any of the gray regions, because if I had a mine here, this number would be satisfied, meaning all these cells are out. And yet, this means that there is... If I do that, then suddenly this is a 2x2 area without a mine. So therefore, that can't be true. I can open these up. And I can tell you that there is a mine in this 2x2 area as well as in this 2x2 area. Which I think there's a much more clear thing that I can point out. Like, there's a mine in here, as well as a mine in here. So if I open this space up for a +2, then I can only put a mine in one of these spots, which is going to make the other one empty, and therefore not allowed. So this is not a mine. Same is true for these two sections. If you add 2 here, then there's not enough. Okay. Okay, actually the piece of logic here is, let's say that we have a mine in this slot. Then there's no mines in these, because otherwise this 2x2 area would not have any mines, and that would fail. This also cannot be a mine, assuming that this is a mine. But now notice that in this 2x2 section, we have 3 cells that we just marked empty, because this had to be empty, and so there has to be a mine here. But there also has to be a mine in this slot, because otherwise then this 2x2 region would be empty, which would overload the 3. So that is really, like, ridiculously complicated, because it uses all of the possible 2x2 areas there. But that is the reason this can't be a mine. The same is actually true for the other side. And the same is true for these two. So now we have a 6. That's the maximum, actually. So yeah, there's the 6. This 3 sees only one mine. The mine is here and therefore not here. Well, if this was a mine, then we would get rid of these 2 cells. Suddenly 3 doesn't have enough, so it's not a mine. Oh yeah, quad. So there's a mine in this 2x2 area. Only one spot for it, so there we go. So mark that. Okay, so now if we said that's not a mine, the 3 is here, and that would overload this 3. If we didn't mine, I don't have a consistent marking system, but if all 3 are mines, overloads this 3. But that is what would happen if we just said that wasn't a mine. So that's marked. That 4 is maxed. Okay. That 3 is maxed, and there we go, 1 mine is remaining. There we go. Now the other section here is hashtag. So each one of these is hashtagged with the rule that it comes from. I gotta watch my other video to understand each rule specifically, but this is a liar, so this clue is either actually a 1 or a 3. It's not a 3, by the way, because it only can see 2 cells, but wall, which counts lengths of consecutive mines. That means that, for example, this 2 can't be here and here, because those aren't consecutive. They have to be consecutive like that, or like that. Like diagonals and count for this clue. Then we have Eyesight, which counts the number of non-mines, so the non-mines that can see, so it's like, it would be something like this, because it would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then Partition, which counts the number of groups. So this would count because it's 2 groups of consecutive cells containing mines. So there's 1, there's 2. That would also work. So yeah. So that is just like a recap of the rules, as well as, I don't know why you can even X this out. What is even there on the left side? But yeah, there's a list of all the rules. So there's Partition, there's Eyesight. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so for the first step, this is actually a 1, just a normal 1. And that means the mine is either here, or it's here. But this 2 means that this could only extend, but only by 1. Same thing here, it can only extend by 1. It can't just extend here, because that is counting 2 mines. So it can say that none of those are mines, and we just unlocked a bunch more clues. Multiple. So each mine in a gray cell, according to this clue, would count as +2 instead of +1. Here we have a liar clue, which is either actually a 2 or a 4. And here's another Eyesight clue, which counts like non-mines, and that it can see in 4 directions. So it already sees 3, but we need 2 more. Okay, let's say that we put a mine here. Then this 5 would need to at least see even all the way up to here. Yeah, all the way up to here. Because this number would need to be extended to see more non-mine cells. But then, this screws over the multiple really badly because suddenly it only has 2 more cells that it could possibly add up to, and it's only adding up to 3. So, that isn't a mine. Negation? Well, it doesn't matter because we can tell this is not a mine also because of this one clue combined with the consecutive clue, which is basically the first step. Because we'd already determined that there was either a block of mines here or a block of mines here. Just proved that it wasn't here. So this is not a mine either. Negation. Okay. So that is the difference in the number. This is actually not a mine. Because then it would say 1. It would be a difference of 1 between white and black. So, this is another liar clue. That's either 3 or 5, but it can't actually be 5 because there's no place to put 5 mines here. Oh, also this eyesight clue is fulfilled. It already sees 5, so there we go. And this liar clue we also we can also fill in that the block of mines is here. And another thing, this if we said this was not a mine, then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have enough to fill in this multiple clue, so that has to be a mine. This liar clue is now a 4. It has to be a 4 now because it can't be 2. I believe this eyesight clue is also filled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And that liar clue is finished off. Negation. Well, we still can't tell, I think. Actually, we probably can tell. Because this partition requires 2 groups, as I mentioned before. So, if we decided that both of these were mines, which would still satisfy this negation clue, because it sees 3 grays and 1 black. I hate the writing. Why? I can do much better in handwriting. Okay, that's not much better. Anyway, that can't be both on. They can't be both mines, so they're both not mines. What the heck is that? Okay, so that's the same as this clue. The same puzzle type as this clue. It just looks weirder because it's counting the existence of 3 groups that each have 1 mine each. So this is also a mine. That also means that this is not a mine either, because 1, 1, 1. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, counting the multiple clue. This is a mine now. And this liar clue is fulfilled, and there's only 2 remaining. And I think what I'm going to do is just try to show as much variety as I can. That's why I'm not going to do all of these. I'm not going to show all of these off. But I'll do more of this combined because it's going to show 2 different combined rules each time. Now it's liar and connected. All of these numbers are like, this is either 0 or 2. This one is either 3 or 5. Actually, that's only 3. This 3 is, well, it's got to be a 4 now because it can't be 2 anymore. And this is a 1 or a 3. That's off by 1 for you. Now we also have connected, but it's also diagonally connected. So I don't know if it extends here or if it extends diagonally here. This 1 can't actually be a 0 anymore, it's got to be 2. So I know the mine is expanding either in this cell or this cell, which means that it's not that cell. That one doesn't matter for its expansion. That is a 3. So now, say that the mine expands here and here, well, there's no way for that to work actually, because that 3 is empty. Like, that 3 is fully complete at that point. So, is it impossible for that to, I think that might be impossible for a mine to be here, because it can't extend here, but it can't extend up there. So, no mine there. Okay, that means that is filled. This 3, which is actually 2, is filled. This 2, which is, don't know about that yet. Okay, I believe the next step is, if this is not a mine, then this 3 still isn't complete. It still needs a mine somewhere, but that mine will always be separated off the other mine area. And if that's because I marked that as not a mine, hypothetically. So therefore, that is a mine. This 3, which is actually 4, is now complete. This is a 6. That's a lot. That's really a 5, but it's going to reduce the remaining down to 2 in the other areas. Okay, if this is not a mine, then we force the other 2 to be mines, and that splits off the top mine. So that can't be it for that. Actually, the key logic is in the bottom left, I think. So these numbers could either be +1 or -1. Either they're already satisfied or they need 2 extra mines. I should use this notation for mines. It's either or, and you notice that this cell can't really be used at all. If that was a mine, then our attempt to satisfy the 3 with the mine, because then it would need to be a 4, and then we need to put another mine there, but it wouldn't hit the 2. Like, making this a mine is a bad idea. So that's actually a 1, not a 0, but anyway, okay. There's now 3 remaining, which means those 2 are mines. That needs to connect, and there we go. Next level, because again, we're doing multiple of these, Triplet and Wall. So no 3 in a row, orthogonally or diagonally, and wall means that all the numbers refer to different groups. In this case, I already know that the groups are in groups of 1s that don't orthogonally connect to each other. Similarly, because these are groups of 1, I can make these empty. The no triplets rule means we don't do that either. So here, the 1 is actually already accounted for in this 1 and 2 clue. So there needs to be a 2, and the 2 will always hit the center. Because let's say there was a mine here, that'd be part of the 2 and would need to extend into the center. And you'd also note that this 1, this being a 1-1-1, means that if it ever expanded to the right, this would ruin this 1, so it doesn't expand to the right. And there's a mine here. Over here, this is a 1-1-1. So there's a mine around here, and that's the one that will finish off this 1-1-1, meaning this is a blank tile. Okay, so if I put a mine here, then those have to be non-mines, because otherwise they would overload this 1-1. This is the other mine tile. Now if we look at this 1-2, we don't exactly know where the mine would be in this 1-2, but it would have to be either like this, or like this. That's the only way. I was trying to find a contradiction here, but I mean, these can't be mines because of triplet. Very easy to forget about that, but like that's not enough to say anything about these other 2 tiles. So I don't know. We'll clear that. Here's a better idea. Say this is not a mine. Then we would have this 1-2 here, and there needs to be the 1 in this spot, and the 2 is in the top spot. Otherwise, like if there was not a mine here, we'd have to fit all those in here. It just wouldn't work. And it would also need to hit the middle spot, because no matter where you put a mine in at this top section, it's going to need to extend to the center in order to be a 2. But notice this ruins the 1-2 here, because suddenly it's like 1-1-1. We literally can't have that, so this has got to be a mine. Okay, and now if I put a mine here, then those 2 are blank, and I've ruined this 1-1-1. It's not a mine. We don't need that bottom cell. Okay, I think the puzzle might solve itself from here. So now, since we don't have that to deal with anymore, we know that 1 must be there. Okay, and 1 remaining. So, new set. Might as well do the next one by 6 by 6. So, outside and partition. So, partition is this, outside is this. This rule set, when both things are... we have 2 connections, basically. This pattern isn't allowed, where there's a mine on these squares and no mine here, because there's no way for this to actually connect. Like, for example, this non-mine will have to go try to connect to this 2, but if we do that, we lock off the mines, and they can't be connected to the outside anymore. So this 2 means there's a hole somewhere in the mine distribution, so it's like, it's either like that. We need 2 groups of mines somewhere. So like, we could have this and this. But also note that this could be on as well, because the 2 partition doesn't distinguish that much. Or we could have just this. These are mines, by the way. Well, we can do that, but again, it seems like that actually is forced, isn't it? Well, okay. The only thing I can say is mine, not mine, and we can just stop after that, because I don't know. So what are the partitions here? Looks like that isn't allowed, because again, the checkerboard pattern isn't allowed. So we can't have that. Maybe we can have some like this. Or like this. Okay. And it's empty, and these are mines. Here we go. Oh, but this can't extend here, because then we would create that checkerboard. That's not a mine. Okay, 2. Okay, look at this. If this is a mine, then we've overloaded the 2 currently, because now it's seeing 3 groups. So we need to connect it one way or the other. If we do that, that'll create a checkerboard. If we do it the other way, is there a problem? I have a little more to think about this. Okay, the next step here actually relies on this cell. Let's do a bunch of them. And I think if this is a mine, then those two can't be mines that would create more than one partition, which isn't allowed. And now, the 2 needs to be somewhere here. Let's say that there is a mine right here. Again, this is another hypothetical. Then there has to be a mine here to make this partition correct. And we made checkerboards in here, so that's not allowed. So let's hypothetically again say there's no mine here. Well, then if there's a mine here, we create a checkerboard pattern this way. And over here, there is still a checkerboard. So yeah, is that needlessly looking into the future? It is. If you do it on the other side, it doesn't work. So, I mean, it doesn't work because you can avoid the checkerboard because this cell could be a mine. Anyway, which for it being called normal mode, right? Anyway, not a mine. We got 3 here. You know, this step, let's imagine there's a flag here because I don't think it's actually possible for it to be here. So now if there's a flag here, we don't have enough to actually make 3 groups, so there's no flag there. Again, in this hypothetical. The same is true for this part as well. So notice that we have a mine here. We actually screw up and make a checkerboard. It's just forced here. Like if I put a mine in here, then the other mines are basically forced to be in this spot with an optional mine here. But notice that we just create a checkerboard no matter what in this configuration. I think the same is also true for this spot. There's a mine, like, if you put a mine here, then you only have 2 other spots to make 3 partitions with, which is like this, and the optional mine is here. So, not a mine either. Okay, what now? I actually think the partitions of 3 are locked to be here and here. We don't know if there's a where the mine is here, or if it's both of them. Put a mine here, then I can't connect to this mine because otherwise that'll make it 1 partition instead of 2, but now it creates a checkerboard if that's a mine, so let's put a mine. It'll create a checkerboard here if this is a mine, so it's not a mine. All the mines must orthogonally connect to the outside, aka the border, so this needs to connect at least to here. This is truly note-taking gone wrong. Okay, I think maybe I found it. So, what we want to assume here is that that is not a mine, then this is a mine, and then this isn't a mine, because we made a checkerboard. But wait! Now this mine is stuck on the, this mine is stuck and can't connect outwards anymore because we've decided this isn't a mine, and because of checkerboard, this isn't a mine. So, that spot's a mine. Why do I regret clearing my notes? There's a tactic I've been using to try to, like, figure out what cells that I don't know by, like, using different colors to describe potential situations. Like, let's say that this is a mine. Then this will be more than 2, so I have to connect the top green with this bottom mine. But I also believe that all of these could be empty as well, and that wouldn't ruin this too, wouldn't ruin this too, although it would force this mine to go to the left. But the point of this is that these 3 cells, we've come up with a way that they could be that are both off and on as mines, so we can't get any information from that. Wow, I didn't notice for so long. So here's the problem. The yellow marks that I made can't actually be right because this one is looking at more than 1 partition. I think that happens when I say this is a mine because we haven't satisfied the 2 yet. So we need to, like, this 2 isn't satisfied, so we need to put an extra mine somewhere, but that ruins the 1. So that's not a mine, it's an empty cell. Okay, now I guess the puzzle is close to solving itself. I can't checkerboard, that needs to come out. Partitions. If this is a mine, then I can't connect. Wait, no, this is we already have we have 3 partitions here, so we need to connect the 2 so it actually works out. Okay, so now finally this is relevant. If this is a mine and everything else is a mine, this can't get out. This needed to connect. So that's not a mine. We have only 1 partition here. Alright, same thing. If this is a mine, then this needs to connect because we only have one partition. So this is a mine, it needs to connect all the way, and then that will lock up this this question mark, so that's to be not a mine at least. Another one. I guess the same thing is true here if it connects all the way up, and we also lock it off. Now this one can't be the bottom left tile. Can't be the bottom left tile for this one either. 3 mines remaining. Alright. Ah, that took a lot of time. Holy crap. That's a sick rule set. Again, I'm gonna do multiple of these because their combination is gonna be different every time. So dual and eyesight. All mines must be 1x2 blocks. Eyesight, all the numbers actually refer to how much they can see in each direction. Okay, so if the 2 has, if I put a non-mine here, I'm going to have to mark all of these as mines because the 2 can only see 2 spots that are non-mines. But now I've failed to make this a 1x2 block. If I extend it over here, then it won't be a 1x2 block either. So, can't be there, that's a mine. The next spot is that no matter what direction I expand this mine, it can either be here or here. It will always be touching this spot, which is, if let's say that is a mine, then we'll always fail at creating a 1x2 block with it, so that's a non-mine. 6. This feels a little annoyingly complicated because I see a way to to make some kind of conclusion, but because first of all, this needs to expand in one direction or the other, and that limits part of the 6, but I don't know which one of those yet. But if you do this, then obviously this can't be a mine because then this is locked up to a 4. This number would be locked to 4 cells when you need 6. So then this extends this way. And the 6 can only see 6 in the horizontal direction, making the 2 see here. And then we just lock that one in a 1x1x1. What? Why is it 3 dimensions? Why is it that? But yeah, there's a lot of propagation that basically means that that can't be a mine at all. 8. Once again, propagation here. Let's say that's a mine. That blocks off so much that they'll literally have to be forced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the maximum it can see, so we have to fill all that in if that's a mine. And then the 6 also sees the maximum, but then that creates a non-1x2 block. That's not a mine. 8. Finally, an easier deduction, but if that's a mine, then we only have 7 this 8 sees, so that's not a mine either. That's a 9. That's the maximum. I think I just fill... Oh, not all that in. Okay, but very close, huh? Yeah, so I guess the equivalent logic there would be if this is a mine, then if you try to avoid the other spots, you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you won't have enough for 9, therefore this can't be a mine. You just do that for the rest of them. Okay, here's the next part. Say that's a mine. You have to fill in those squares because if we ever fill those in, that would create a block of more than 1x2. So now this 2 is satisfied, I can mark mines here. So now, if you notice what I just did, this 8 is now locked into only 7 cells. That means this can't be a mine. This happens to be a mine because that must expand there. I'm looking at this position I made in my notes. I'm not quite sure it's right. Of course, I have this more consistent notation where this is a mine now. But... oh, that handwriting sucks. I'm going to make sure it's right again. Let's say this is not a mine. So then we have this. Oh, wait, that contradiction was actually a lot faster than what I was thinking. Okay, I mean, and I said wrong too, okay, wow. Anyway, let's say that's not a mine. So then this has to be a mine, otherwise it would be more than 2. This also has to be a mine. So it must extend here to make a 1x2 block. But this also needs to extend. There's no way to do that. So that's a mine. That extends here. This is not a mine as well, because if that were a mine, then this would never be able to make a 1x2 block properly. Okay. Okay. So, if that's not a mine, I think I've tried, a bunch of these, but I didn't notice this, carefully enough. So, this 8... this 6 is working, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 8 is working, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this 8 now... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's too much. That's blank. And there's no new information there. Okay, the next spot is actually kind of hard. It's kind of surprising. It's actually here, I'm pretty sure. So let's say it's a mine. We need 1 by 2 or 2 by 1 block, so this must extend, and we can't make the block any bigger, so it's over here. Now the 6 is satisfied, so there's a mine here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And look at this 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is only 2 places to go, and it'll turn that 5 into a 7, no matter where we go. So we have to fill the other one, and that's 9. We literally can't actually go to 8 from here with, since this says 5, and we can only add +2 with either addition. So that means that's empty. 2. Okay, it already actually has 2, so that's a mine. Okay. We can open this up because otherwise, if this is a mine, then this can't extend at all. 5. It's very close to 5. Actually, these can't be, okay, yep. You know, I always do that. I always click the thing because I know that's not going to make me freaking lose, but I knew that those had to be mines because this already had 4. And if you add, if you made that a non-mine, then we would get +2, and that would overshoot number 5. Okay, now this is done. We can't extend this block any further, as well as this block any further. That 5 is done, so there's a mine here. That also, if I had a mine here, then that would ruin this mine because then it couldn't extend, so it's empty now. We only have 3 blocks remaining. How close are we? Oh, 6 can, 6 is basically its maximum. I think 8 is at its maximum as well. There you go. 3. Well, okay, if that's a mine, then that extends into way too much. That can't be true. So is 9 finished? Yes, it is. Okay. So that just extends here. That 6 is like, that 6 can go all the way over. There we go. Okay. Wow. What is that rule combination? It's really tricky. Multiple and snake. Okay, so multiple is that gray cells count as +2 instead of +1 for numbers, and snake, all the mines form a single orthogonally connected line that doesn't touch itself. Okay. I tell you that that black isn't true because this area we have a total of 3. That means this other area must be a total of 2. And if I make that black one true, then there's no way I can add +1 from there. Okay. +3. I don't know if I can do anything but that. We know that there is 1 mine across here, because these are odd and this needs to be an odd number. And because we know there's a mine in one of these as well, that accounts for all of the numbers for this 3. That's +1, that's +2. Those are all empty. We got 1 here. That means that all the gray cells can't be true because that would ruin the, that would overshoot the 1. Now it looks like all these are empty. Because if there were ever a mine there, they could not connect to the rest of the snake. And, you know, there's 14 mines remaining. So it's like we could fill this entire area with mines, and these are all done now. Okay. 1. So we have 11 mines remaining. Is this going to be easy from here? Can I just come up with a snake that might work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's interesting that it feels like it's impossible to get. If that's 11, there's no way that this could be true. Well, first of all, let's open that. 10? Alright, 10. Is that... Can I just click that? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I can't. But pretty sure that this can't be a mine because I can't freaking reach the 1 at all from here. That's too much. Wait, no. That's the remaining count, not the total mine count. We can still potentially reach it from there. Okay. Something is up with the parity of these. We have 8 accounted for in gray cells, and 4 potential accounted for in black cells. Not sure what that gets me. Like, I know that if I remove 1 from the gray cell, that's probably fine. But I don't know if it's fine to remove 1 from the black cells. We would actually have to remove 2 from the black cells. So, like, if you assume that a black cell is the one missing, we actually have to assume that 2 black cells are the ones missing. And that would, I think, screw ourselves over, right? So no matter what, we, like, lock the snake or like lock up another gray cell. So I think that means all the black cells are mines here. But it still doesn't tell us which of these is on. Wait, actually, if this is a mine, we're screwed, right? Because it's like looping into itself, and we don't actually have enough to make that happen. I mean, like, this is a mine, then this obviously can't extend, and I don't know, like, I don't even know if a loop is allowed. But anyway, that wouldn't be enough for this remaining count anyway. So I don't think that's a mine. We can connect this out now. We have 6 remaining. I don't know how we're gonna figure that one out, to be honest. Okay, 6 remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna say that's bad because 6 isn't enough to reach any part of the 1, which needs a mine somewhere. That's not a mine. Let's extend it. So now we have 5 mines left. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It seems potentially valid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We can't actually reach the top of the 1. Okay, that's where it is. And 4 is remaining. Okay. So now if we do mine, then this is the end of the snake. And we can't extend it anymore, which is a bad thing. Pretty sure that means that the way to do it is this. Those are the last 4 mines. There we go. So yeah, that's cool. And new set, the 7x7 combined. So yeah, there's going to be new and interesting combinations. Negation and Balance. Okay, negation is basically all the numbers are actually counting the difference between the numbers. The difference between gray and black cells. So for example, I don't know, let's use this one as an example. If there's a mine here, that would work because there's 1 gray mine and no black mines. But if I decided to do this, then that would make this number actually 2, and therefore it wouldn't work because we have 2 gray and 0 black. That's 2 minus 0, and you know, if I did this, it would go back to 1 again because that's 2 gray and 1 black, which is 1. Anyway, enough of that. Next rule is balance. The number of mines in each row and column is the same. And in this case, the mine count basically is a spoiler for that. It's a 7x7 board, so it's 3 mines per every row and column. Okay, so first of all, I think this 3 must be all the black cells because there's no other way to get a difference of 3. Yep, there you go. Okay, so I think this is the one where I can find something. So let's say that's a mine, because I don't think it's actually possible for that to be a mine. Then this 2 currently has actually 0, so we need to get it to 2. The only way to do that is to get 2 mines here. So now we have 3 blacks and 1 gray, and that's 2. That will also become a not mine because of that. We also can mark those as not mines in this hypothetical. That's really meaningless. Okay, so now this 1 sees 2 black, which is already too much, so we need to get that down to 1 with a gray. And then those are not mines because that would overload this number. And now this 2 is stuck because we got 2 black mines and 1 gray mine, which is 1, and there's no way to get that up to 2. So that's not a mine. I want to talk a little bit about like hypotheticals that are more than just about 1 cell, because usually the process is that I say something about 1 cell, then I do some logic to it, and if there's a contradiction, that means what I did at the very start was not correct, for example, like what we just did to unlock this cell. But you can have hypotheticals about, like, what if this 3 was accounted for by grays instead of blacks? And in this case, we have to make all those non-mines, and you can see immediately this 2 is screwed. There's no way to make it actually work because it would need 1 black, and we already got rid of it. So the idea here that we're trying to say is that was like a much more complicated statement. Like I had to mark all of these as mines in the hypothetical, and at this point it still doesn't help. I didn't unlock any cell from saying that, but it might help in future attempted deductions that we can't do all gray. Just something I've noticed. So we gotta pick. Basically, it's all black, but we don't know which cell is the remaining empty one. Also, we're not sure it could be empty. It could also be like this. and then block one of those or something like that. I mean, like, one of the blacks is tied to another gray, so still, we don't have that much information about it. Okay, I found the next step here. Let's say that's a mine. This one now actually has a difference of 2 between black and gray, so we need to put in a gray in order to fix that. Let's say the gray is up here, but this 2 now only sees a difference of 1. There's 2 black cells and 1 gray mine. I mean, 2 black mines, 1 gray mine. So, because that's only 1, we need to put in another black mine to make that work. But you see that they just basically cancel out this gray cell on this one. So, we need to still put in another gray mine. Because currently this one actually sees a difference of 2, because there's 3 black and 1 gray. So we need another gray mine here. But now we have like the exact same problem. This 2 currently actually sees 0, we need to fix that. So both of these need to be mines, and this one has completely failed at being a 1 because it's seeing 4 black mines and 2 gray mines. And this will happen even if we reverse the order. So if that's a gray mine, this 2 still needs to see 2 extra blacks, and that gray has basically been negated. So that's not a mine. Okay, and now, let's say that's not a mine. This 2 still needs another black to make it 2 black and no gray. If it were a gray, this would turn to a 1, and that wouldn't work at all. So now we have the same problem as what you saw before. This one sees 2 black and 0 gray, so we need a 1 gray to cancel it out. But then this 2 gets overloaded. Because this is not a mine, and yeah, the 2 is overloaded. It sees a 1, it sees 2 black and 1 gray, and there's no way to add another black to fix it. So, that's a mine. Okay, the next step, I think it's here. So, if you say that's gray, then this is actually a 1 right now, so we need to make it back into a 2 by getting a black mine in here. That means this is empty. Otherwise, I'll bring it back to 1 again. And now this one is currently seeing 2. We can't allow that, so we need to get the gray in here. But now this 2 has a problem. It only sees a difference of 1. So we need to put in this. And that's a problem. Because this one sees a difference of 2 instead of 1. So, not a mine. It's 2 now. Not completely sure where to go next, but I have a suspicion that, well, first of all, this 2 is currently, it sees 3, a difference of 3, and we need to get at least 1 gray. But if it's both the grays, then first of all, we need to make this a mine, because otherwise that would be a difference of 1 instead. But anyway, this would satisfy the 2, but because of balance, which we haven't freaking used for a long while, then these would have to be non-mines, and suddenly this 3 is impossible to fulfill. We can only do that to make the blacks work, but we still have this gray, so that would still a difference of 2. We can't do that, so only one of these is mine. So I think that means this can't be a mine. Okay, looks like balance is coming into play again. If you look at this 2, we need one of the blacks to be on, and potentially both blacks. But let's say this black isn't on, so that's not a mine. Therefore, we need another black here. And crucially, even though those 2 look satisfied right now, we actually can't, because this column is suddenly being affected by balance. So, since there are 3 mines in each row and column, we've established that at the very beginning, because the mine count is 21 and the board is 7 by 7, so there's 3 mines in each row and column, and that means that these 2 are mines to make that 3, and that ruins this 2. So, that's not a mine, therefore it's gotta be a mine. And because of that, this 2 is currently, it sees 3 mines, we can't allow that, so that must be a mine as well. This cell seems to be useful. Say that's a mine. Then these are not mines because there's only 3 in a column. And now, we already figured out there was 1 mine across these gray cells, so this is a mine. That counts for the 3 in this column. Now this 2, it sees 2 blacks, and this gray will not help, it will actually ruin this 2, so that's not a mine. So there's 2 in this column, 2 mines in this column, so there must be actually 3 in this column. And we've messed up this one, because now it sees 2 black and 2 gray, which is not correct. 0. I think that, no, if you put in a gray, then there's no black to put in to keep it at 0, so both of them are empty. Yep. Okay. This one needs the black to be a mine, and nothing on the gray. I mean, I didn't... Yeah, okay. This is a mine. There's no mine on the gray. Okay. I think there is something with this now. This one is currently correct. It sees 2 blacks and 1 gray. So, in other words, whatever we do here can't affect the total. So this is my notation for, I haven't used it much, but this is the notation for either on or either off. But notice that if both of them are off, then we don't have enough mines to fill out the rest of the column with 3. So both of them are on. Alright, for the 2, I guess that means that those are either both black or both gray, but either way, we need to do that in order to get this 2 to actually be a 2, because currently it's a 0 right now. I think this 2 is also finished. Yep. Now look at this row. There are 3, basically, there's 1 mine in already and only 2 spaces left. There gotta be both mines, so that we have 3 in each row and column. That confirms that gray mines are the thing that's making this 2 work. That means there's 3 in this row, there's no mine there, there's 2 in this row, so there has to be a mine there. That 3, I'm pretty sure that's a mine in the gray and no mine in the black, because that's only going to make 3 out of that. This row is now satisfied as well as this column. 0 means there's a mine in the black and there's no mine in the gray. This column has 3, so that's filled. This row only has 2 mines, and 1 cell remaining. That's got to be a mine. What now? I'm going to hate myself if I get this wrong, but I think this row, it has 2 mines remaining in it. So, and we know that one of the mines is across here, and we also know that this 3 is kind of in a weird situation. It's already satisfied currently, but we still need to add mines to it. Like, after we've put in the 1 mine here, there's still, like, it's still going to affect this 3 no matter what, even if the mine would happen to be in the space where the 1 connected. And I think the only actual way is to do this, because we're forced to put in a mine somewhere in this space, making that 3 not a 3 anymore, meaning that there needs to be 2 mines in this space that affect the 3, and there's only one way to do that, which is mine here, mine here. If it was like here, then this 1 doesn't have anything. No, sorry, it's not about the 1, it's about the 2. I should not have said the 1. It's about the 2 because it needs a gray to fix the 2. The 1 can just be satisfied with this, but we know we're not doing that. Anyway, mine's here. 2's finished. 1, okay, wait. Let's finish the columns. These columns are finished. And there's actually only 3, at the bottom row. Oh my gosh, that level took so long. Oh my gosh. And we still need to do some more. Okay. I'll do 1 more, maybe. Probably much more, but hopefully it goes faster. Anyway, quad, there must be at least 1 mine every 2 by 2 area. And partition, the number indicates the number of groups of mines instead of individual mines. So, because that was in a corner, we knew that that would be a mine, as well as this is to be a mine because it's in a corner as well. So, what does this 3 look like? There's partition. There's a mine in each of the 2 by 2 areas, so this is not a mine because the mine is actually in this. Now there needs to be a mine in this 2 by 2 area, so the mine is actually here, and there's no mine there. There's a mine in this 2 by 2 area, so the logic is the same. The 1 can't be here, the 1 mine can't be here because there still needed to be an extra mine in this area. There's no mine here, and because we just need a corner now, that's the mine. And we don't know if this is a mine or not because we could still have a mine there because it only counts groups. However, this has to be a mine because if that wasn't a mine, then we wouldn't have enough to make this 3 work, because there's no way to get 3 groups any other way. So there needs to be a mine in this area. So, and the 2 is already accounted for. Well, it could be like this, right? No, it couldn't, because then the 3 doesn't have 3 groups. There's no way to make 3 groups if the mines are like that. So there's a mine in here and it doesn't connect downwards. It just doesn't. So that means that since there's a mine here and a group here, there's a group here and a group here. So there's no group on this square. That is a mine now because that's a 2 by 2 area. There you go. That 3 is completed. Actually, this is another 2 by 2 area. So there is that mine 2 is complete. No. Hold on. Well, no, it can't be here. I'm pretty sure it can't be a mine here. At least that's true. But I don't know about if this extends this way. There's a mine here, so there's no mine in this spot. Corner, so we can fill that. Okay, so if you look at this situation down here, there's a mine here in this 2x2 area. If it's there, then, well, first of all, that's not information to say that these two are not necessarily mines, because if that's a mine, it could extend down there, except not really, because, let's say it does extend even to here, then this 3 doesn't have enough to make 3 groups out of. So effectively speaking, there is no mine in these squares. There's a mine here because it's a corner with a 2x2 area. This 3's almost done. Wait, no, this is a corner, so that's the mine in the corner. We'll fill that as a not true. At 3, I still don't know if I can extend it or not yet. Doesn't feel like it affects anything. By the way, have I mentioned that there's 10 mines remaining yet? And there's 12... No, not 12, you freaking idiot. 11 spots left on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't even... Like, okay. That basically only affects the 3, because that 3 can't have all the mines connecting, but at least that means that freaking everything else is a mine. Okay, now we have 2. Okay, it can't be here. If that's happening, then this 3 is screwed. There's a mine there, at least. Okay, and if we do this, then the 2C is actually 3 groups, so that's wrong. Okay, ridiculous level. Here we go, connected eyesight. Ones in eyesight can just be filled with flags around them. I should, like, click it. So, like, connected means all mines orthogonally and diagonally connected. I mean, or diagonally connected. And eyesight, all the numbers actually refer to the number of non-mine squares that it can see in the 4 directions. So this 5 actually is the maximum it can. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put in a flag at the end. This 6 basically sees the rest as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's its maximum. Same thing here, this sees 6 horizontally as only one direction of expansion. Same for this 2. Same for this 3. This 6, if it's there. I can, like, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then there's... I can't make any deductions off that, I think. Not from that angle. Okay, hold on. The 6 can't actually expand to the 3, because that would make the 3 see way more than actually 3. So... let's try to avoid expanding upwards and just, like... we're trying to fill in non-mine squares and stop expanding upwards until we can't anymore. Like, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't expand here because that would ruin the 3. So now we have only the option to expand upwards. 5, 6. So you know those have to be empty. Because we try to expand up... we try to not expand upwards. We tried to not expand upwards and still had to expand upwards by 2. Therefore, those 2 are empty. There you go. That's an 8. Same idea here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We try to avoid expanding rightwards. We still had to. 6. Okay, so I have a hypothetical here, but because it concerns multiple squares, it's not likely to be true. Like, first of all, notice that we haven't used connected in a while. It's probably going to come in soon. But there's 2 ways that this left section could connect to the right. Like, you could try to go here. Notice that this is actually kind of crappy because, like, if we say that this is not a mine, then it has to connect either here, which ruins the 6. So that's not even possible. So it needs to go to the other side through here, which defies expectation. And this 8 will need to do something to actually fit in. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we didn't do that with a specific configuration, then we would lock off this connection anyway. So, and now this 6 would be here. And all this is hypothetical, right? Also, because of logic about, like, this 1, 2, 3, 4, it sees 4, it needs to see 6, so even if we try to avoid the square, we can't avoid actually getting this But all this is to say that even though this defies expectation, it's not necessarily false still. I mean, it's getting close to the remaining number, which is 5, 6, 7, 8. But I still don't know. Oh, actually, this 3 can't hit that in this hypothetical, but still. The 6 is maximized. Like, I still haven't seen anything that proves this wrong so far. I believe the 7 actually sees maximum. Wait, actually, this 6 is screwed. Whatever I did here, the 6 is screwed. So this hypothetical actually works. That's a mine, and we never have to think about connecting all the way around ever again. Okay, I see something else. Let me see if I got this right. So, let's say this is a mine, hypothetically. And that means the 7 only sees 7 spaces, so we have to fill them all. And now this space here can't ever have a mine in it because it would never be connected. It's all locked off. So, those are all non-mines. This 8 sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces already. That's a mine, and this 6 is screwed. Not a mine. By screwed, I mean that it only had 5 spaces to see, by the way. Oh, gosh. You know what the really sad thing is? That I didn't even color these according to the colors of my profile picture. Okay, I think I found my next step, although it's annoying to, like, visualize, sort of, again. So, let's say you block off one of the things on the vertical. That means the 6 is locked now because, well, the 6 can't expand more horizontally, as mentioned before, because it can't hit the 3. So, this is the max for the 6 if I do this move. So, now look at this 8. It currently sees 4, so it needs 4 extra horizontal. So yeah, we got like 4 here and then 4 extra horizontal. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because it doesn't matter where I put these horizontal. The point is that the 6 is ruined. Because no matter where I put it horizontally, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontal and 2 vertical, and that's terrible. The 6 is overloaded, and doesn't matter, of course, where those extra mine positions are. This would also ruin the 6. So that is not allowed, that's not a mine. And the same logic is actually true for the other side as well. You could just reverse the logic for the other side because that logic doesn't really care about what I assign to a mine, just that the 6 was locked to having 4 vertical. Anyway, the 6 is almost done. We've unlocked this number. I mean, this 6 is also done as well. Almost. Yeah, I literally went into 2 layers of hypotheticals here. Okay, here we go. Say that's not a mine. The 6 sees 5 currently, so if you put a mine in... Jeez. Our hypothetical starts with this being a non-mine, which means if we connect to it, that actually sees 7 now instead of 6. So that will overshoot, that can't be a mine. Now this needs to connect and get out of here. So here we go. And this 6 now currently sees 5 and only has one way to expand. Let's put a non-mine there. And let's put a mine there. Okay, here's the problem. There needs to be a mine in here or here because this mine needs to come in and extend outwards to this here. But no matter where you put that mine, that locks the 6. It currently sees 5. I mean, it could be here and it could only see 4, so it's bad. That can't be a non-mine. So this is probably easier to think about. Let's say that's a non-mine. Now this 8 sees its maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 sees maximum, and therefore those aren't mines. Except, first of all, those aren't mines because if they were, they could not get connected. But that overloads the 6 very badly, so that can't be a mine. 5 now. Okay, and the next step here is about this 8. Just look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8 sees 1 more space. And no matter where we put that non-mine, that 5 does not currently see 5. It sees only 4. So, no matter how this is, the 5 looks like that. Or for example, the other way around would be this. Where the 8 sees the extra cell this way, but the 5 will still have to see 1 non-mine and 1 mine that way. So, there we go. That 3 can only see that. The 5 can only extend. I'm just clicking now. This needs to connect. Down here, that 5 is finished. Wait, can I just finish by clicking stuff now? 4 cells remaining. That 6 is finished. Yep. Alright. Remaining 1, let's go. I think that's a long enough freaking video. And we still didn't even unlock all this other stuff. Why? I love how instead of unlocking the locks, we've just unlocked the ability to see more locks. Like, what is that? Anyway, see everyone. Hope you enjoyed. There's still a lot of variants. See ya.